You worked for the Red Sox and the Dodgers?
Yeah, and one sad year at the Brewers in Milwaukee also, actually.
So what were you doing for these teams?
I worked in PR. I worked in some strategy. I did some media stuff. But yeah, I worked for a guy named Larry Lucchino, who was
Oh, gosh. Okay, I know him.
Yeah, I worked for Larry for close to 5 years at the Red Sox. And then I worked for a guy named Charles Steinberg at the Dodgers.
Yeah.
And 1 year at the Brewers, kind of working for nobody, which was the problem.
Look at you out there in front of the Green Monster.
Oh, my God,
holding
yeah.
some pieces of metal, as they say.
That was the 07. I got to be in the parade that year, too, which is awesome. I got to be on the floats and everything like that. I got a nice little, oh, yeah, oh, my God.
Look at you. Look at that
I
baby
haven't
face.
seen this. Yeah, that was awesome, man. It was fantastic. And I was at the World Series in Colorado. It flew us all out to Colorado. That's Bobby Orr when I was... Oh, God.
Little
Boston
kid.
was a great place to grow up. Boston, sports fan, 2003 to 2008. You know, like those years were unbelievable. Like they were so fun.
You are aware that those years didn't exist before 2003 very much, right?
I was, because I started following in like 95, and the Red Sox got their butts kicked every year in a heartbreaking fashion by the Yankees in the wild card round of the ALCS. And we get clobbered. And my first year at the Red Sox was like 2003, and so I watched the air. And it was just brutal. But I was in high school, so I was like doing my homework in the owner's box during like the 2004 ALCS, which is like the most vivid memory of my life. And I watched Lucchino and Theo and John and Tom pull out this yellow legal pad to write the speech for after the season. Yeah, like it was the speech saying, "Well, we lost to the Yankees, we got swept," and then Roberts got on base, and Lucchino went, "Put that thing away! Like we might have a shot." And then in Game 5, that same yellow legal pad came out again, and they started writing it. Lucchino's a little superstitious, and when we tied the game, he went, "I never want to see that yellow legal pad ever again." So like, I think someone fished it out and gave it to Theo or gave it to Larry or something. But like, I was there, I was like witnessing history. I was like sitting in the seat next to the Yankees dugout when Roberts stole second, and like in some of the footage, I can like see myself as like a little kid.
So what was the Yankee dugout look like after he stole second?
Torrey put his hands in his pockets and looked at one of the other coaches and shook his head and just sat down on the bench. But like he seemed pretty sanguine about the whole thing.
Well, he's sanguine about everything. That was always his superpower, is that he looked nothing. He never wore anything on his face.
He was very cool. And by the way, he was one of the those years, I don't think the Red Sox executives and the Yankees executives got along, but everyone loved Torrey. Everyone loved Joe Torre back in and maybe because he and Lucchino both had like an Italian connection or something like that.
Could have been that. What was the year that Pedro threw Zimmer down on the ground? Were you there for that one?
I wasn't. I don't think.
What was the year for that one? Was that 04? Was that 04? Was that 03? 04? Was it before that?
I don't think it was 04.
Pedro just took Zimmer and threw him right down on the ground.
It was just brutal.
Because Manny acted like a pitch that was high and right over home plate.
Right, yeah, it was absolutely
close. It crossed
really
the
overreact.
plate. He totally overreacted, and then everything went haywire. Was that 03?
I think it was 03. There was a game in 2004 that was like the turnaround game. It was like a rain delay, and they wanted to call the game. And I don't know if this is public knowledge. It must be. But Kevin Millar went into like the groundskeeper's office. Dave Miller's like, we want to play today. Today we're gonna win. And so like whatever that was
Did
like
he tell that story a couple weeks ago? Didn't he?
Was that Veritek punching A-Rod in the face? That was that game,
Oh my God! It might have been that game. They had so much. They had so much moxie.
That was the day
back then.
That was the day Veritek spoke for a lot of Americans.
Oh yeah, it was really fantastic. A-Rod was a guy that we all did not care for back then. Yeah,
How about that?
I don't want to say something brave and controversial.
Is that him when he was slapping at Christian Arroyo's glove? Or was it
Bronson
Arroyo's glove? Right.
Yeah. That moment though was the moment when I was watching it because I was watching with other Red Sox employees in Boston because that game was in New York, and someone looked at me and was like, "This is the Boston curse. This is the moment where it all comes apart when it looks like it's all going." And then they turned the call around and he looked at me and he's like, "I don't know how to feel." Like it was so crazy.
Great.
So how did you get into stand-up? Were you always interested in stand-up?
I was always into stand-up. I was always, frankly, if I'm being completely honest, I thought I'd work in baseball my whole life. But then I was at the Dodgers during the court years and everything was going south so quickly. And I thought maybe my baseball career might not have the legs that I think it does. Mm-hmm. And stand-up always appealed to me as a thing where you don't have a boss.
Okay.
Where I just like do do the thing. But yeah, I got pretty serious about it after college. I went to England, and I lived in England for a little while, and started working things out there, and yeah, caught a couple breaks, and it's just a hobby that got out of hand, Rich. You know, it's like
it's a hell of a hobby.
It's a fun hobby. But Sarah Tiana, Chris's wife, was big when I was starting out. Very supportive. I had a lot of great peers, a lot of people that would like let me open for them on the road. It's fantastically like. You know, it's a fun community of people.
Well, it's not easy to do, man. I did it in college, and it was
really.
Yeah, I did.
No way.
Yeah, for about 3 years.
Do you still think if someone tossed you up, you could do 5 minutes?
I mean, I'm a corporate stooge now, so I don't know if I could really do the same act that I did back in the day.
Do you think he could do?
I think you could do it. You're really great on the mic. And you're great, you're a great storyteller. So I think you could get up and easily tell, 5 minutes worth of sports stories.
Last time I did it when I was on Sports Center, and I was really excited because Susie was there, and she'd never seen me do it. I was terrible. I wasn't very good.
But you're really comfortable speaking in front of people, so I think it would be.
It would be weird if he wasn't.
But it's so tough. It is the toughest thing I've ever done.
Every time you're in Canton, man. Let's be honest.
Yeah, when you do,
that's great material.
You definitely
do. Great. Michigan's given me great material in the state of Ohio.
Michigan's really. I visited for the first time a couple of weeks ago. It was fantastic.
Oh, good.
Went to Zingerman's and the whole thing.
Oh, the Deli.
Oh my God! Everywhere I go though, because I'm like, everyone thinks I'm like. They're like, oh, he's Jewish. He's going to want to go to the Deli. So, like, wherever I go, any city, I'm in Indianapolis, and they're like, you've got to visit Shapiro's. Like, oh, my God. If you don't go, it's like you haven't. I'll go to these, like, tiny towns in Wales, and they're like, we have a deli here. And I'm like, I'm not in Wales for the deli. You know, like, I live between New York and Los Angeles. I've been to a couple good ones.
Wales has a deli?
Wales has I was in Aberystwyth in Wales, and they're like, have you been down to Maury's? And I was like, Maury's? Welsh Deli?
Maury's of what? Where is
Maury's of Aberystwyth.
Okay.
They're like,
that's a mouthful?
Oh, you got to get down to Maury's. Their corned beef sandwiches are to die for. And I'm like, no, they're not.
So is it like a New York Jew sitting there in Aberystwyth or whatever it's called?
My wife moved to Aberystwyth, and I knew I had to get them the right kind of pickles, and that's what we got now. And so, like, it's fantastic, though.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.